go. We're back with the second segment of the Fan Spot, and we're going to talk a little bit about this Cowboys-Chiefs matchup. Cowboys lose this game 17-16. And, you know, what I think was strange about it wasn't the fact that we lost. I think there were a lot of good things that came out of the game. I felt like that the Cowboys sort of played themselves out of that game because the reality is the defense held Kansas City to only 17 points, which in my head is a game that the Cowboys should have won, considering what we have on offense. And that's not to take anything away from what the Chiefs can do on defense, but it was, in my mind, it was a step up from what happened to us a season ago, going into a hostile environment against the Seattle Seahawks and just getting blasted. You know, we go into Kansas City this year, and I just felt like that our performance was much different. I felt like we were more solid. I felt like that the game was more balanced. I felt like that we had a lot of control in the game. And just at the end, you know, a few things just got away from us, just a few plays here and there. I still don't agree with that Morris-Claiborne pass interference call. I feel like if that hadn't happened, Dallas could have possibly moved the ball, got in position, kicked the field goal, maybe won the game. I mean, we don't know, but that's the way I felt about it. Because if you think about it from that point, Kansas City didn't score any points, even on that drive when they got the call. That was it. It was, you know, so I don't know. I just felt like that was a winnable game. It just kind of, I know it was weird. I mean, Daz went off in that game. He had, what was his numbers? He had, 9 catches, a touchdown, 10 catches, a touchdown.
140, 50 yards.
Yeah. So, you know, and it was the complete opposite of week 1 versus the Giants, you know. So, I mean, what about that game? I mean, we were defensively, we shut Charles down. Besides that first drive, I don't think that Kansas City really did much in that game that I was, you know, wild about.
It was more of a revert back to a Bill Parcells type of performance. I like just try to hang on and get the win.
Yeah.
And it was a defensive stand that we needed when he hit Bo for the touchdown. I mean, if you get your back pinned up against the wall too many times, sooner or later, I mean, this is NFL. Team's gonna score.
Right.
I mean, we played pretty much even. I mean, it was a winnable game. I felt like we should have won, but it was one of those, here we go, Cowboys. But the flip side of that is they didn't let it get out of hand like it did last year.
Exactly. And that, to me, was a positive. That was a complete positive because it was one of those games where it could have easily, you know, started going in the other direction because Dallas they got a little shaky at the end of that game, and I wasn't sure what that was all about. They got a little shaky.
They was in control of the game for pretty much the whole game until Charles got loose at the end there for a little bit. And you know, and that Claiborne call was questionable.
It was questionable. I thought, you know, there were a few calls in that game.
I'm a fan, but if you look at the tape, and I mean, I wish we had it here, we could go back and say, okay, he didn't turn him. He went across, and it looked worse than it was. I mean, I guess that was a home call. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna think it was.
And you know what? Speaking of tape, just want to let our audience know that next week we will be utilizing NFL Game Rewind, so we'll be able to show you guys some of the things that we're looking at, and we'll be able to show that right here. So you'll probably enjoy some of those features that we'll have next week on our show.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's great.
I know.
Oh, we just recapping the first 3. I mean, we, you know, got off to a slow start, but now the Cowboys look pretty good. I mean,
They did. They look very good.
I mean, their whole, as a whole, they look better as a team. They look like they're coming together.
Yes.
They look like, okay, there was a statement made last year. Let me clear it up. Where Jason Garrett's taking us. It looked like he has us on.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What did I say? I said I like where Jason Garrett is taking us, and he's.
If Jerry lets him do his thing, I mean, I don't think he's the all shucks kind of guy.
As Chad said.
I mean, you know, he looks like Ken Dog. You know what I mean? He got his shades on.
Howdy doody.
Richie Cunningham. Now he's just like, you know what I mean? He's more comfortable without the play calling duties. But I would like to see us utilize Dez, move him around a little bit, and give teams different matchups.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like them to, okay, you can set your corner here and Dez is here. Put him in the slot. Put him on the right. You know what I mean? Slot him up. Do some different things with him where teams are guessing. I mean, because that's your franchise guy eventually. So, you want to go to him.
Yeah.
You don't want to take the ball out of his hands. I mean, last week he had 4 catches for 38 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you want to see more of the Chief performance.
Right.
And then he's not going to get 140 every game, but
Right. But you know what the good thing about it though, and through all of this, what I've noticed is the amount of time that Romo has in the pocket, which is a huge difference from last year, man, because it was like he would snap the ball and it was like a jailbreak. You know, he's running around, and I mean, yeah, granted, Romo does some good things when he gets flushed out of the pocket and he's on the move, but I like the fact that he has time to sit in the pocket, survey the field, and decide which one of these weapons he's going to beat you with.
well, for the second time in 3 years, I mean, he got a rib injury again. I mean, is it?
Well, we need to protect him, right?
I mean, so I mean, I don't know. He gets hit, and I don't know something about them ribs. Him and Michael Vick, I don't know. When they get hit, their ribs.
But you know what? But in his defense, who was it?
He was Sam's.
Kurt Warner, and Kurt Warner's top quarterbacks right now. Tony Romo is number 2, right behind Peyton Manning.
I mean,
I know. A lot of people will look at that and go, Tony Romo? Yes.
I'm not
Tony
a lover,
Romo.
but I'm not a hater.
Right.
It's just, I like to see Tony Romo, okay, now that you've had all the struggles in your career, I like to see you just elevate this team and get them over the hump.
Yeah.
And start by getting into the playoffs. That's just about winning the division and then getting this team into the playoffs. And then we'll see what happens.
And on that note, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Cowboys-Rams matchup, which is the most recent game in case you haven't been keeping up with the NFL. And we're going to talk about some of those things about what we're seeing in Tony Romo and the rest of this Cowboys team, so we'll be right back.